last year, or released last year, called Daddy's School, which gives a very rare and interesting insight in not only your cinema but also your family and how a lot of your untypical things started. So would you just like to say some words about this documentary and the context?
Thank you very much for inviting me. This is second time that I'm here. The first time I was here about 17, 18 years ago with my younger daughter Hannah. She was in my heart on that moment. Now she is lady. And I remember on those days that we couldn't, my English was worse than now, and I couldn't go to a restaurant. And all days we went to McDonald's, unfortunately. And after a few days we get sick. And we understood that how much is the American food, like American cinema is awful. My daughter told, please don't go to McDonald's. And okay, and before I coming here, someone told me, do you have master class? I told, no, master sleep, because last night I never sleep at all because of flight. I arrived last night, and master class would be master sleep from my side or your side. I would sleep or you get bored. And this documentary that you will see was made by one Iranian director, Mr. Hassan Solju, about my family and I. The concept is how I teach cinema to my family, to my wife, to my children, because I didn't learn cinema from university. I learned by myself. And I didn't know how could I teach to other people. So by experience, by mistake and correction, we try to find a way. And it is another way of learning cinema. It is not only about cinema, it is about a man and his family, because my older daughter Samira left school and she told, I want to be filmmaker. And I didn't want to, because I told I suffer a lot, I don't want my child suffer too. But she was insisting, she started to commit suicide, so I accept. I told, okay, be in cinema, don't die. And then we started to have this school. This documentary show you how this process started, which kind of lesson we had experienced, and what was the result of that. It is about learning cinema and also about one new idea. Do we have to go to the same tunnel like everyone? For example, go to the primary school, then high school, then university, then waiting for job, then working somewhere? Or we can find another way, in a more free way. I hope you like that, and after that we are here to answer your question about our greetings. Thank you very much.
So we are back. We hope you enjoyed the film. We have a little bit less time than planned, so we will discuss maybe 10-15 minutes, and then we will open the floor so you can already prepare your questions. So first question I would like to ask you, so the documentary is divided in several chapters where you give different definitions of what cinema is for you. So I wrote them down, so it's imagination, inquiry, reality, thought, love, and life. In the film, we learn a lot about how your whole family came to cinema, but we don't really learn how yourself came to cinema and how you found your own way to make films.
Actually, I think I mentioned in this film as well, I was born in poor family and my mother was working, and I grew up under the shadow of my grandmother, who was so religious, and she believed that if someone goes to cinema, God put him or her on the head. That's why I didn't go to cinema in my childhood till the age of 17 when I went to prison. I had a chance to see film in prison as well. in the age of 22, when happened revolution in Iran, I get released. And after revolution, I started to watch film. So I didn't learn anything in cinema, even experience of cinema. And when after revolution I start to watch film, cinema affect on me. At the first time I was writing article for the radio, and then I wrote short stories, and then PS for theater, then a script for cinema. Then I arrived in cinema without any knowledge, like Lumiere, when he started to, more than Lumiere, because I watched film, but very late. So for the beginning, cinema was for me like photo roman, that I had a story I tried to transfer to image without any knowledge about pureness of cinema or role of image on sound designing. I try to say my story in front of camera. And then by mistake and correction, I learned little by little how could I work better. My best teacher was my mistake. Like scientists that they do a lot of tests and they go many way wrong to find the best way. So always in workshop I advise to the young filmmaker that you need your experience as well. It is more trustable than only watching others filmmakers film or listening to the voice of teacher. You know, try to stand on your leg. As much as you can trust to yourself, you are more strong. I don't say don't watch the film. Yes, watch the film, but how much? The quality is more important than quantity. I see that many young filmmakers watch the film a lot. I think affect on their vision. We are like the bee that is going to have good honey. It's better you choose the best flower. Don't go to all rubbish thing because your honey would be not good. If you want to be, for example, poetic filmmaker, you need to read poem as well beside of your watching film, and also don't forget for your reality. When I started to make film, I hadn't knowledge about cinema, but I had many experience. For example, till the age of 17, I worked in 13 different jobs, like peddler beside of the street, in different factory, or in different shop like boy job, and I knew a lot of character. You know, not by reading book or novel. I met many people in reality. They arrive in my story, they arrive in my film. Like Chekhov, you know that Chekhov was doctor. He visited a lot of people that they were sick, and he wrote their story. You need root in reality. When I give definition that cinema is life, really, as much as cinema goes far than real life, it's very dangerous to be artificial. We need imagination, we need sort of poetic thing and surrealism. But in my point of view, I believe that we should stand on reality, but try to have our hand in the sky of imagination. In my experience, I suffered, for example, in prison, and helped me for making film, because as a filmmaker, you need to be strong as well. Once I was teaching cinema in India, and I met many students that they were upset after 3 years. They were telling me that when we arrived, we were thinking that we become Fellini or Tarkovsky. Now we lost our hope. I told, because you sit in the classroom in front of air condition, you look at to the others' big master film, and you compare your capacity with their talent and their condition. So you will lose everything. Kurosawa says, many people make their film with their brain. I make film with my heart. I thought I make film with my knee. Because if you cannot stand on your knee 2 months from morning very soon till midnight, so you cannot make your film. You need to be strong physically. You need to know people. I made 30 films, except 3 of them I cast all actors and actresses from real people. The people that they never act in the film before. And they were so powerful because they were full of life. So I arrived in cinema through this kind of experience. And I made bad film also in terms of technique. And then I told, okay, I should learn cinema. Mainly I learned cinema by reading book more than watching film. As I mentioned, I don't remember exactly because recently I didn't see this film except the last part I saw here. I don't know I told in this film or not that I gathering 400 books about cinema, and 6 months I read all those books, and I try to have notes, summarize them and to have note, and summarize till to reach to one small notebook in my pocket. I had a rule for different things. I suggest you, if you read one book and forget, read another book and forget, watch one film and forget, okay, what is the result? You need to save the thing that you learn. How? Like filing in your computer. Before computer, I had file in my brain that, okay, the file for lenses. All rules that I learned about lenses, I put on that page, like file. For composition, for casting, for acting, for editing. Divide everything that you know. One day you sit and ask yourself, what is cinema? For example, cinema is storytelling, is acting, is image, is sound designing, is style, is editing, is management. Okay, what is image? Is color, is light, is form. Okay, what is color? Color is those colors. Okay, what is the meaning of blue, red? How affect this kind of color on you? Everything that you learn, write like rule for yourself if you believe to that rule in different pages or in different file in your laptop. And then ask yourself, what is my belief to cinema? General knowledge doesn't help you. You should make decision for your rule. For example, what do you know about creating character in your script? If you summarize, you know that you know, for example, 5 rules. And when you read more book, you will find new one. But when you don't know how many rules you have, you can't find and add to them. So I was very serious to summarize, to categorize, and to remember, and I was teaching the rules that I learned to other people several times. If you want to learn, teach other people. Because you should be ready to teach them, so you know already. And by this kind of activity, learning book, making film, and also please make film by your mobile. If it is bad, don't show to anyone, but make film. Make film. You cannot reach to the level of Tarkovsky, then you start to make film. You know, the cinema is like child start to walk, her mother or her father help her to walk little by falling down and stand up again. This is the way of making film. Don't be perfectionist. You know, don't read too much about big name, you know, because if you compare yourself, there are 2 possibilities: jealousy, or, you know, lose your self-confidence. The main thing which I teach to my children was pushing them to find their self-confidence. Believe yourself. If you believe, you are a filmmaker. I tell you, I had a colleague who worked with 100 different directors. I hadn't this chance. I asked him, you work with 100 different directors. Can you tell me what was the specialty of all of them? For example, they were good manager. He told no, many of them couldn't manage very well. They had assistant for management. I asked him, they were good storyteller. They told no, many of them had a scriptwriter behind them. I thought they could direct actor and actress. He told no, many of them has another assistant to direct actor and actress. They know the technical thing, for example, photography, sound design, no. But so what was their specialty in common way? He told those people are the people that can make decision more than everyone. Even though they buy the other people's advice, but they can make decision better than others because they believe themselves. So it is, I don't say don't learn, but the main thing, you should believe yourself. You should stand on your leg. You should create your rule. Doesn't matter how many rules. Even one rules for composition, one rules for sound designing. You know, like, start with 10 rules, and then you will see by practice, you will find yourself. And in cinema, you should find your way. If you look at to other film a lot, you are going to copy other films. Already those films made them, we don't need them.
Yeah, I think what you just say is also very interesting in the Singapore context, where a big portion of the cinema is modeled after, let's say, the American mainstream cinema, and a lot of people aspire to make very quickly, very perfect films, in the sense like technically perfect. And there's sometimes a lack of experience, and what you just highlight is to tell a story, you have to share your experience and you have to go beyond a certain comfort zone to make these experiences. So what I think is a very strong part in your whole body of work as well is this mixture between documentary and fiction. I mean, as you just explained, most of your films also start from a personal experience or a desire, an idea that you want to share. Is that something that you do consciously, or could you describe how such a film could start?
I made different film. I mean, in terms of a style, I have surrealistic film, surrealistic film, symbolic film, because always I'm searching for something new. But many of my film has two things together. Reality, like for example, Kandahar, you will see everything like documentary, but suddenly you will see legs coming down from the sky. It is something contrast. In painting, you know, for example, we have Dali. Dali is so surrealistic. But we have another painter who tell me the name, because last night I didn't sleep. The other painter who is, for example, there is a tree, you will see the horse is passing behind the tree, and Magritte. Only one thing is unreal. You know, first you should believe that moment, and then one moment is related to the... I inspired by that painter, that the majority of the body of life is real, but something is unreal, to make you think more than this condition. But maybe it's related to my political life as well, because I was trying to help poor people, I was searching in society, and always I think that a filmmaker has a responsibility minimum for audience. I would like to share with you one theory which I have. I say filmmaker should be responsible for audience. For example, you are here. Okay, I'm responsible to not waste your time, because if you come here, what do you give me is not money for buying ticket, it is your life. I say, if one film is about 90 minutes, maximum 2 hours, each one of us is able to watch maximum 10 films per day. If from the moment you were born till the end of your life, let's say 80 years for example, if you watch only film and doing nothing, it means 10 film per day, multiply 365 days, multiply 80 years, equal by 292,000 movie. It means if one go for ordinary thing, it means the best part of our life have been killed by those bad filmmakers. That's why I say I am responsible for your time. You come here, I should share really. I have 2 other rules for the good filmmaker. Filmmakers should be honest. If you think in this way, but you make film on that way because of money, because of government, because of that political party, you are not honest. If you are in party, you are talking about human being, but when you are making film, it's like McDonald's, you know, for only searching money, you are not honest. Also, you should be deep. Many filmmakers make their film like a common, a sentence on Facebook. It's not deep. You should go deeper because many people watch your film and you should think more than one person, more than one times. So being honest, being deep, and being responsible create for us people like Tarkovsky. But I don't say again perfectionism. Don't compare yourself with those, master, because if you go for that, only as a guide is yes. But try to walk on your leg. Be real, be simple, believe yourself. And then you will reach to your goal.
Okay, I was just told that probably we won't have time for Q&A. Or can we take one question? Are there any questions? Yeah, I see a question or several questions.
Not working. Thank you very much for this talk. I feel really grateful and I'm really lucky to have you here. Salam Cinema has been one of the films that has inspired my life and my path to filmmaking. And I would like to ask you, when you started making films up to now, how do you think your films has shaped a little bit political life inside Iran and sociological changes? Do you think that your films have been a path to open and create changement inside?
I believe that cinema can change the world, and I believe that cinema already changed the world. Without, for example, Iranian cinema, you don't know what is Iranian people. Without Singaporean movie, I don't know what is Singapore situation and culture. Through of cinema of different nations, we understand each other as a different part of human being. But we have sort of cinema that focus on changing the society. I believe to this kind of movie. I made a film called Afghan Alphabet. It's a documentary. The shooting time was about 1 week and 2-week editing. And the budget was symbolic $1 by UNICEF. On that moment, we had 700,000 Afghan children refugees in Iran. That during 8 years they couldn't go to a school in Iran because they arrived in Iran without visa. 3 million ran away from Afghanistan because of insecure situation. So they were in bad situation, they couldn't go to a school. We made that documentary, but before showing to the public, we try to show to each person of government of Iran in the time of Mr. Khatami. After 3 months showing this film, one by one, and talk with them. And also I cry a lot of times when I was remembering those tragic things that I have seen. I could change law in Iran by this film. And in one day, the doors of a school opened for those children that they haven't visa, and 500,000 went to the school. It is role of cinema. Also, for example, the Kandahar. When I made this film, no one was talking about Afghanistan situation. All the media forgotten that. It was before September 11 in 2001. I tried to put light on darkness of that country that all the world forgotten that. But when happened, a film was in Cannes Film Festival, and I add another book beside of this film to describe what is happening inside of Afghanistan. And then when happened September 11, everyone had question, where is Afghanistan? What is Afghanistan? And the film had answer for that. Always I'm thinking about social issue, because I think the human being is located in sort of condition. You are not alone, you are not isolated. The society affect on you, you affect on society. And I believe to role of society. Many people are Muslim or Christian or other religion because of their country. I don't mean your country, because you have different kind of religion, but many country has, for example, one religion, official religion. Everyone are born there, they have that religion. It is role of society, or that culture, or they use that language, or they have that history. So we are not isolated, we are living in this sort of condition. So thinking about social issue help to put light on darkness of the society, to visible or invisible thing, to bring something hidden. You know, this is the role of cinema. Look at to Indian cinema, they will produce each year minimum 1,000 movie in Bollywood way, but still the Satyajit Ray is the only greatest one because of his concentration on social issue. We could learn what is the soul of India through of his film. Even though you go there like tourist, you could not reach to that level of knowledge. So I would like to see Singaporean film, not copy of Hollywood and industrial of cinema. I would like to see your film, and I felt what is Singapore culture. I don't mean only the problem. Soul of your nation should come out from your film. That's why I insist for reality. Don't think too much. Open your eyes, listen, like meditation. Use your 5 senses. It's much helpful than your thought. Our brain, is intellectual, depressed, sad, very weak and confused. But our 5 senses, bring us more real thing.
Okay, I think we have the time for one last question. I think you have.
Hi, I'm Mohsen Makhmalbaf. I'm Sapal, aspiring filmmaker from Malaysia. My question is regarding in Salam Cinema, 2 girls ask you what is an artist, and your answer was an artist has complete control over his emotions at all times. So I want to know what is your method to control your emotions? Do you meditate, or do you use music?
I'm not a good person. How could I describe? Actually, when I'm writing, I'm very happy person, because full of my mind concentrate on the concept that I am working on that. For example, now I am happy because I should be fresh and focused to your question. And when I am alone, like other intellectual people, feel dizzy, confusing, and it is the tragic. The enemy is here. Really, the meditation is good. The sport is good. relationship with other people are so good, because human beings were not created to be alone. You know, we balance ourselves with other people always. When you are in society, even you feel better what is the weather. Sometimes we feel that it's colder than yesterday, but you will see that other people are like warmer, in warmer weather. I think relationship with other people, don't isolate yourself. Meditation, work, and read, but not too much. You should. Sometimes, for example, I think I read something like more than 3,000 books. But when I think about them, I think 2,900 of them I could forget. You know, because many of them repeat, and it is contrast of valuation. For example, you will read a book that say the violence is not good, it's not immorality. You will read another one, the justice is important, even though you kill someone for justice. And after a while, you feel dizzy and you will lose your value, and you don't know what are you looking for. Look at to the civilization that we created. It is the top of the knowledge of human being. We could not control global warming. We destroyed this planet. The planet is full of poor people. It's not fair situation. Still, we could not reach to democracy. Majority of democratic government are not democratic. There are a lot of bad things in the name of democracy. More than this, we are in competition for everything. Competition in festival. I should be winner. Competition for job. Competition for love. And majority of us are sad because the competition is only one winner. And 99% of the people are losers, so they are depressed. Even the winner has a stress. Maybe next time he is or she is loser. Okay, what is this civilization that we created? Where we go? People say that 200 years ago we didn't have a psychology because we didn't need that. This is the problem that we create. You know, as much as we grew up, we need more psychologists because it is not real life. All of us are far from nature. So we are in our mind. Someone should correct our thoughts over and over. So I think we need sometimes to return. We need sometimes to not read. We need sometimes to not watch. My older daughter Samira, who started this movement in my family, is getting 7 years that she left somehow cinema. She is concentrating on meditation or on finding truth. 2 days ago, I met her. She told, the people doesn't know what they want. They are searching for fame. They are searching for money. They are searching for many things that they don't need. They can't use it. They lost their happiness. If you are going to be filmmaker to be happy, I don't promise you. But if you want to be filmmaker to give happiness to other people, I promise you. It is, reverse. If you search your happiness, you don't find. If you try to give happiness to other people, you are happy more than others. So what are you going to make film? To do what? To change what? To repeat the same rubbish that already we created million? I think first we should be simple as much as possible. We should ask ourselves who we are. Am I Mohsen? No, this is the name that my mother put on me. Am I filmmaker? No, this is the job that by chance I choose. I am father? No, this is by chance I get married. Who am I as a human being? What is my happiness? This is, if we find this, in very simple way, we can help other people by our film, by our article, by our everything. Sorry, look at me, I get the teacher and it's
Thank you so much, Mohsen, for sharing these good thoughts with us. And I'm very sorry that you have to stop here, but you are lucky that a lot of Mohsen's films are screened today, so please come back to the National Museum to see the President at 2 o'clock and then Salam Cinema later tonight, and I think you have the program. So thank you again for being with us.
Thank you.